All right. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Business Credit Masterclass. We'll probably have a few more people popping on as we get moving into the process. But I am excited to have us here tonight. I'm going to talk to you all about how I've been able to get over $500,000 in business credit through business credit cards, business loans, as well as lines of credit. And I'm actually working on one now. I'll tell you about that during the session. I had no idea what a Chase private client is, but I'm gonna tell y'all all about it. So you get some new stuff fresh off the press. And I'll also share that I'm using a new tool. So if you see me messing up and fumbling around, that's why, because I'm trying to be fancy, y'all. So work with me. So again, thank y'all for joining me. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to do this learning because I think it's so important. And I will tell you, I am simply trying to stop us from pedaling backwards. That's my ultimate goal, to stop us from pedaling backwards. We can only do what we know to do, and we have to learn something different in order to change things. And so I'm just trying to help you to learn how to build businesses not out of your paychecks. Like we all kind of start with it from our paycheck, but we shouldn't be building businesses 2, 3, 4, 10, 12 years later, still out of our paycheck. And so I'm going to help you to understand how to move forward in this process. And then there are a lot of misconceptions about business credit. And I'm saying that because I had some of them myself. And I know I'm a pretty smart person. So I'm figuring that there are other people who have these same misconceptions about business credit and personal credit. And if you got bad credit, you can't build business credit. And the business credit is going to mess up your personal credit. All these misconceptions. So I'm going to help you out with some of that. And then there are people who may be like me, who, I grew up in a house where, my mom, cash is king. Cash is king, period. If you don't have the money to pay for it, you do not go get it. You wait until you save the money, you get the money, and that's when you can get the things. And that was true for that time period. Because if we can recall back, women couldn't even have a checking account until the late 70s. You were not getting business credit cards. So this is something, you were not even getting personal credit cards. So this is something fairly new to us. And when we bring into the concept of racism around credit and even around buying a home and redlining and all of that, there are real reasons as to why we believe that cash is king. But the one that I want to talk the most about is us just really not dreaming big enough. We got to stop being willing to settle for just enough. We got to stop saying, and I know that I'm not the only one on here who was taught to just be grateful for what you have. And that's true. We do want to be grateful for what we have, but abundance is our birthright, and it's okay to want more. And a lot of us have stopped even desiring more because we've already decided I can't have any more. This is it. And so this is all I got. And the kid said, yes, it is okay to want more. So I want us to stop settling. I want us to stop this notion that we just got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Y'all, we done tried that. We didn't even have a boot nor the strap. What are we talking about? We didn't have a boot. And here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Most of us are educated people, several degrees. Many of us are homeowners. Many of us have raised children, put them through college. And for us to think that we should just settle for the scraps and just do the best we can, that's just what we're telling ourselves. And it was what I was telling myself too. That's why I'm here. I'm not pointing the finger at you. I am here because these are some of the thoughts that I had. And until somebody took me to the side and said it's a different way, I would have still been stuck in that situation. So I want us to stop pedaling backwards and stop just being grateful and settling for what we have and be willing to ask for more, but also be willing to do more and to expect more. I can tell you that business credit has totally helped me to secure many, many, many more contracts than I would have been able to secure by myself. Now, my business is ed consulting, but this applies to any business. It does not matter if you're an ed consultant, if you have a product-based business, if you're a store owner, it does not matter. Business credit is business credit. And so it allowed me to be able to get the help that I needed. It allowed me to be able to hire other people. It allowed me to be able to market to more people so that they would know who I am and how to find me and how to purchase my services. And so that was really important. And that's a game changer. And when we think about what it costs to market our services, that holds a lot of us back and keeps us playing small. So during this session, a couple of things I'm going to share with you. And I'm gonna try my best not to go off on any tangents, y'all. I got a few notes in front of me to keep me in line. So I'm gonna share some things, but I want us to know that working harder is not the answer. Working harder is not the answer to your problem. You already work hard. You should be tired. You should be exhausted. You're already working hard. We know that's not the answer. Taking on a second job, y'all, is not the answer. That's not the answer. And picking up more extracurricular contracts, deciding you're going to be the department chair so that you can get the little $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 stipend that they're going to give you, picking up the extra duties, tutoring those extra kids. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. Some of us are going to say, I'm just going to tighten my budget. How much more tight can the budget get? Again, that's settling. That's not wanting to dream big for ourselves. And the part that gets me, and part of the reason why I had to leave the school system, because I was trying to fight inflation with a stick. And with inflation, baby, you got to come with guns ablazing. I'm one of those people. I'm not bringing a stick to a gunfight, okay? I'm not. I'm coming prepped, ready, and prepared for the fight that's ahead of me. A lot of us are aware of the fight that's ahead of us. We see what's happening in the market today. We see the price of eggs. We see what happened to the price of cars. We see what the interest rates have gone to. My home mortgage has a 3.6% interest rate. People will die for that interest rate right now. We already see what's happening. The price of chicken in the store. We know what's going on, but we want to tuck our heads in the sand and keep doing the same thing, but expecting a different result when we all know that's a little bit of insanity. So today I'm going to share with you the transformation that you're going to have to make from that cash is king to credit is key. And I'm going to help you to understand that shift. I am going to share with you the foundations of establishing a business as well as business credit. I'm also going to share with you strategies for building, managing, and leveraging your business credit for growth. I'm going to share a couple of success stories with you, one my own to begin with, and then I'm going to give you practical steps to start your business credit journey today, if you so choose. I am not trying to sell you anything. Do you hear me? I am here to share this information with you. My goal is not to sell you anything. Now, for those who feel like this is good, I might want to try something different. I know I need to make a change. I'll share some information with you about an opportunity, but everything that I'm giving you in here is free. It's very actionable. All you have to do is follow the steps. And some of y'all gonna go and pay somebody else $3, $4, $8, $1,000 for this exact same information that I'm giving to you right now, today, free of charge, no strings attached. It's the real process. It's the real way to do this. I am not a business credit expert. I'm telling you what I did and what I have helped over 300 women do in the past 3 years. It has worked for them. It has worked for me. It has worked for my family members. My first client outside of myself was my mother. And we all know my mother died in 2018. But baby, when she left out of here, she had a credit score that was so high, nobody would refuse her for anything because I guinea pigged on myself and on her. I spent the money to learn the process, but then I began to apply it in a strategic way. And I said to myself, I said, now how would people know this? Now, how would folks be able to take the amount of time that I've taken to learn this information? How would they do this? Trying to work jobs, have families, and do all these things. It just so happens that when I was doing it, I didn't know it was going to pay off the way that it did, and that I would be able to come back and share at this level. But again, I'm not a business credit expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I am simply sharing with you what it is that I've done, what it is that over 300 other folks have done, and the fact that if my mama, who if you knew my mama, you would know this means something. She trusted me to build her credit up, and it worked out. And when she left out of here, feet first out of her house on that gurney, she had well over an 800 credit score. And I sit here today with excellent credit and with over $500,000 in business credit. So no fee. The only thing I ask is that you go ahead and support me as well. I do a lot of work trying to support women, and I'm building my YouTube channel because why should I keep doing the work and I can monetize on YouTube instead of doing it for free on Facebook? So go ahead, click the link in the chat and follow me on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. I am Educators Moving On Official. I am Educators Moving On Official on YouTube. And I should see my subscribers go up like right now. And then I also have a podcast. Now, the podcast and the YouTube channel are totally different. The podcast, I am talking to educators and to women about what they need to move on from in order to live the life of their dreams. So we talk about things like moving on from overworking, from working for free, and some of those mind tricks that keep us stuck, from allowing people to manipulate us, from, saying no, saying yes when we really mean no. So if you would, please click the link in the chat, help me out, follow me on YouTube. Again, I'm Educators Moving On Official. And then follow me on the podcast. Subscribe to my podcast. Just subscribe to it. That's all I'm asking you to do. Subscribe. And when you get a little time, take a listen. I got some videos already uploaded on YouTube. Stephanie says the Imposter Syndrome podcast series is amazing. See, got somebody on here who's already been listening. I'm telling you, I enjoy this work, and there is nothing more fulfilling than doing work that you love, that is meaningful, and that is impactful, and it does not seem like work. And so that's how I'm able to do the podcast. That's how I'm able to do the YouTube channel. That's how I'm able to come and do these free master classes. That's how I'm able to work in the mastermind with the women that I work with, because this is work that is very impactful, and it just feeds my soul. I absolutely love it. All right. So some of y'all might be wondering, okay, now you done did all that. What's in it for me? Why is she doing this? Don't nobody do nothing for free. You are absolutely right. I will tell you in a minute. Slavery is over. We no longer work for free. That is the truth. And anybody who did not know that, I suggest you write that line down. And when somebody asks you to do something for free, you need to let them know that slavery is over and we no longer work for free. So what's in it for me? First thing I want us, what's in it for me is that I need more women making over six figures. And I want to remind us that six figures goes past the 100,000s. When I was in the school system, I thought the highest you can get once you got to 100,000, you had met the pinnacle. I didn't know that you could go into the twos, the threes, the fours, the fives, the sixes, because we only hear about six figures. And then what do we hear about? The million. And so what about all those numbers in between? Well, let me tell y'all something about those numbers in between. Those numbers in between, them 200s and 300s, sisters, you can live real good off $250,000 a year. Don't let these folks make you think that you can only live good off $1 million. Now, you can live good off $1 million, but if you were making $20,000, $30,000 a month, I don't think there's anybody on this call who would not be able to live a good life, truly doing the things that you want to do, traveling where you want to travel, living where you want to live, and doing the things that you want to live. So it creates the problem that when you get up into those high six figures, guess what? I ain't got no whole bunch of people who can roll with me. I had to go create new friends and create new travel partners because I travel a different way now. I ain't got to just travel on Southwest and on Allegiant. I can now take a first class flight on Delta, American, United. I can fly on any flight I want to fly on. And I technically don't have to plan 6 months out. I can go to the airport tomorrow if I want to purchase a ticket, but my friends can't. My people can't. And so we need more women passing this six-figure point. And also, I love points. I do a lot of travel on points off of my credit cards. I think it's absolutely amazing. That's right, Nakia, that's freedom. I didn't know what freedom was until I got here, okay? And so I love points. I love to travel using my points. And the point accumulation is also one of the ways that you get to where you're trying to go as well. So in the credit card system, the more people you refer, the more points they get, the more points you get. Well, you heard me just say, I love points. So as I'm helping you, if you decide to move forward, they're going to pay me through points, okay? So I'm not going to pretend like I'm not getting anything out of this because I am, but you're getting definitely way more than I'm getting. So let's talk about the bonus. I got a bonus for y'all because this is what I want y'all to get into the habit of and out of the habit of. So we want to get into the habit of being rewarded, getting extra, because in the school system, you don't get extra. You don't get rewarded. When you get rewarded, they give you an apple after 35 years of service. They give you a $5 gift card to Starbucks after 20 years of service. That's not a reward, that's an insult. So in the business world, you need to be in the habit of being rewarded. You've met people who entered the business world and after 6 months, they were promoted. You've met people who got a bonus after their first year, at the end of their first year. So we have to get into the habit of being rewarded, getting extra, because in the business world, those who are consistent and get results are the ones that win. It has absolutely nothing to do with brains or intelligence. Because if that were true, all of these smart people on this call, we would be at the top of the food chain in the top 10% of society if that were true. We know it's not brains and intelligence, it's those who are consistent and those who get results. So for those who stay on the call and finish it out, I'm gonna give you a guide to forming your business as well as a cheat code, and it's gonna walk you through everything that I'm talking about as well. So this masterclass will walk you through, but then I'll give you a written version, a workbook that will help you to be able to come back to as a resource. All right, so real quick, for those who may not know me formally, it's nice to virtually meet you. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I am Chanel DeBose, mostly known as Dr. D in the coaching space, former educator. I was a former school principal, former classroom teacher, former instructional coach. I've been a college professor. I've done a number of things, and mainly because I got bored. I would get bored in my positions. There may be people who can relate to that now. You jump positions. You don't really know why you're jumping positions, but it doesn't mean that you were ineffective. I was an amazing English teacher, but the problem became that my classroom was running by itself. The kids knew what I was going to say. They knew what needed to happen. I could step out the room and somebody else would get up. One of the students would get up and become me at the front of the class. I had some of the highest scores in the test system, which is what led me to become the building principal. I didn't apply for a job. I was appointed the job. I did an amazing job as the building principal. I took the building from the bottom 5 percentile of the state of Missouri to the 55th percentile in the state of Missouri in 3 years. Anybody who knows anything about education knows that is a feat all by itself. And so after a while, it wasn't boredom. It was that I didn't feel like I was growing. I didn't feel like I was getting to the next level that I desired to get to. And then when I figured out what my next level would be, well, realistically, is either an assistant superintendent or a superintendent. And I didn't want that. I already didn't have time to spend at home with my kids, with my husband, with my family, because the school system is all encompassing. And so I realized that what I valued and what I wanted didn't align with what I was doing, nor would it ever align with what it was that I wanted. And I could wait 13 years to retire and just wait it out. And I had to have a come to Jesus talk with myself and say, you're going to either do these 13 years and wait on this retirement. And then I realized that waiting on the retirement, it was still only going to be $2,600 a month. And I couldn't live off the $5,000 a month that I was making. So it really didn't make sense. So I say that to say, I am no different than you. I was born and raised in St. Louis City, never had a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm in a boy household, although I came from a girl household. So my mom had 5 girls and I have 3 boys. And so I'm the only female in my house, aside from my dog Roxy, who I went to get. I seeked her out to try to. Oh, and that's mute. All right. And so when I started building my business credit, I didn't have any income in the business. So if that's one of the things that you're thinking, is that you got to have contracts, you got to have money in the building, in the business, it's not true. It's not true. I'm sitting here as a living witness, and I can show you 10, 20 other people right now in my mastermind who have business credit and who have built business credit, and they have not, they did it before they secured contracts. So why is this important? So first of all, I want you to take a minute to read the screen, because women, and this is a woman issue. This is truly a woman issue. This is not a man issue. If you can think of any man that you know, they are not afraid to ask for money. They are not afraid to sell you stuff. They are not afraid to talk about how good they are at something. But for women, we typically start our businesses with 50% less money than men. 50%. Part of the reason is that we're paying for the stuff in the household, but there's another piece to that. There's another piece. And that piece is we take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves. We make sure that everybody else's dreams come true, and we put ours on the back burner. So men, when they come up with an idea, they're going to pursue something. I can tell you right now, my husband is building a car outside of 1973 Olds Omega. I kid you not. It's right outside in my garage. And he just went and bought 4 tires that ran almost $2,000. He didn't come and knock on the door and say, hey, babe, I'm thinking about buying these tires for this car. No, when I looked up, it was 4 tires in our sunroom. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Why are car parts in my sunroom? And then I looked at them, they still had the yellow tag on each tire to show that they were brand new. And I was like, oh, you bought some tires? And he was like, yeah, I'm getting this for the car that I'm building. For those who don't know, my husband is a custom paint job. He does custom paint jobs. So he only does custom work on classic cars, hence the 1973 Olds Omega. But my point being, we will put everybody else before us. We won't do the things that we need to do for us or that we desire to do for us. We'll pay for the kids' soccer practice. We'll take care, buy them the shoes that they want, but we won't do the things that we need to do. So we start with limited access to money, and it hinders the growth of our businesses. And so in order to kind of leverage that, we need to make sure that we have the necessary funding and that we're putting those pieces in place. I want us to know that history does not repeat itself. This continues to happen over and over and over again. History doesn't repeat itself. It's man that repeats itself. So I want you to think about that. This has nothing to do with history. This is man that continues to repeat itself. We sit here, we know that we put ourselves on the back burner, and then we continue to do it because we don't want to make a different choice. So hopefully by me pointing this out to you, you'll be able to recognize this and make a different choice. The second reason is that 48% of female entrepreneurs, they lack available mentors or advisors in the area that you're struggling with. Why do we lack it? Because A, we don't know where to find them, and B, most of the people you got to pay, and we're not willing to pay it because A, we don't have the money, and B, when we get the money, we're spending it on our kids and our husbands and all of these other things. instead of on the thing that's going to create a different situation for us. So mentorship and networking provides you with an invaluable experience, all types of partnerships and all types of referrals and everything. But you have to understand that it's most times is not free in the business world. And I know that the school system has led us to believe that training is free. And in the business world, it is not. And if you want top-notch training, you're going to pay top-notch price, because results speak in the business world. And then number 3, this is one I really want you to pay attention to. I really, really, really want you to pay attention to this one and read what that one says, because this is one where I get a lot of gains in. And the people who are in my CEO membership, they are now reaping the gains of this as well. It says that woman-owned businesses found that 4.3% of all U.S. government contracts were awarded to 4.3% were awarded to woman-owned businesses from the government, but they're mandated at 5%. Now, this was data from 2015. They just released their new data. They're down by 2 percentage points now, because the women will not go after the contracts. They get scared. The big numbers scare them. They want to do all of the work themselves, not realizing that they can hire people. And so this matters, because those government contracts, they don't take as long as school contracts. Government contracts, you can win a contract and be paid for it within 30 days. So it provides that consistent revenue and credibility for your business. And once you've done work for some of these major companies that you wouldn't be able to get the work on your own, like these are major companies that they are doing the work for. So I want to know, what if I told you that there are more contracts than there are companies, and you just don't know where to find them? What if I told you that's the reality of the situation? There are more contracts available for you to work and more money available for you to get through contracting, but you just don't know where to find them. Just think about this real quick. All of this comes under government contracts: K through 12, higher ed, private schools, religious schools, charter schools, corporations, companies, community-based organizations. And then you got grant money. You know who they pay the grant money to? So the YMCA goes out and gets the big grant. Y'all see the big grants. They'll say that the YMCA or the Head Start just got a $2 million grant. Well, they can't spend that money themselves. They got to pay companies to come in and do that work. You are the company that they would pay to come in and do the training, to come in and cut the grass, to come in and do whatever the thing is. So when you think about your YMCAs, your Head Start, your daycares, your group homes, all of those types of places need people like us to train their staff. One that we've been getting a lot of roadway with are our domestic violence shelters. Because guess what? Anywhere where there are women, there are children. And because there are women and children, they need training and they need support. So don't just, put yourself only in the school system. Your work travels across spectrums. There are more contracts. It's just, am I willing to open my eyes and to open my mind to be able to see the different ways that we can get contracts? Oh, I hope I'm not jumping. I see my screen jumping up there. My screen better stop jumping like that. That's making me a little nervous. All right, so here's the promise that I'm gonna make to you. I'm gonna give you a step-by-step roadmap to obtaining business credit. I'm gonna make it simple. It's gonna be based in reality. It's not gonna be so complicated that you can't understand and you can't make it happen. It's gonna be super easy and super simple. And all you have to do is follow the directions and be brave enough to move forward. Because some people just won't move forward out of fear. Hopefully, when I get through talking with you, you'll be willing to move forward and allow the fear to dissipate. So I want to ask a question. I want to know, and you know what? I think I did a poll on this one. I got a couple of, I'm going to launch a poll. So go ahead and answer the questions in the poll. It's a quick poll. I just want to know, do you currently own a business? Yes or no? You should see the poll. And then how much business credit do you currently have? And pick the number that is closest to where you are. So I can get a feel for who's in the room, so I can try to tailor some of the information that I'm going to share with you. So we got about a few more seconds. We got about 60% who have responded. If we can get the other ones to quickly respond, and we'll end the poll. Do you currently own a business? And how much business credit do you currently have? That will really help me, because right now, most people own a business, it looks like, but most of us don't have a lot of business credit. So that helps me to be able to really tailor my responses, knowing that most of us are business owners, but most of us don't have a large amount of business credit. So that's very helpful. All right, so the poll is closing. If anybody else is going to get their answer in, go ahead and get your last answer in. And we are closing the poll. And if you want to see the results are sharing now. All right, so let's go to our next slide. All right, and I need to move this so that I can see how to close the poll. Give me 1 second. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to talk about step one. This is where you begin to take the notes, get your pen and paper out. Let's start writing it down, take notes. And let me just say, step one, most of us have completed, but I have a suspicion, and I could be wrong, I have a suspicion that some of us have not fully created the business. So when we say business formation, there are multiple steps to it. And a lot of times we will create the business name and do the EIN, and then we'll stop there. But there are a couple of more steps that we need to make sure that we're doing if we plan to pursue business credit. But really, you should set your business up to be sustainable and scalable. So that means that you're going to have the business name. You're also going to have your articles of organization and your operating agreement. And those are just templates that you can pull off from online and complete for your state based on your business. And then you also need your EIN. Of course, that's through the IRS. Hopefully you've set your business up as an LLC and not a sole proprietor, because there's a level of protection that comes when you set your business up as an LLC versus a sole proprietor. And you also have a business checking account, not your personal checking account. And you have all of those items in one folder. The other thing that I want to make sure that we're doing is that each year we are renewing our charter for the states that we have to renew in, to make sure that we are in good standing. So each year in most states, not all states, we have to renew our LLC charter. And it, to be quite honest, a lot of times it's a money grab. In the state of Missouri, we have to pay $10 online, and they just send you a digital certificate that says you're still in good standing. It shows on the website, is this company in good standing? It goes to yes. So they just notified me last week my business was not in good standing because I did not do my $10 renewal. So let's make sure that the business is formed in the right way, that we have our documentation as well. Now, timing. A lot of people think, well, I'm just going to wait until I start making money so that I can, start my business credit. That's the worst thing to do, people. That is the absolute worst thing to do. Because first of all, business credit is not a one-day process. But second of all, when you have a business, your goal is to make money, but the IRS does not say that in order to have a business, you have to be making money today. So just because you're not making money doesn't mean that you don't have a business. You still have a business, and you need to be pursuing business credit, because what I will tell you is that when you need business credit, they're not going to give it to you. So you want to pursue the business credit when you don't need it, so that when you do need it, it's available to you. Now, I know a lot of us are probably thinking to ourselves, but my goal is to be debt free. And that's the same thing that I was thinking to myself as well. For many years, my quest was to be debt free. I went to work every day in the school system, trying to make sure that I paid every bill, getting credit card debt down, getting all of the debt down. And in my mind, I had said, if I just had to pay my regular bills, everything would be okay. I would be fine. Okay, well, let me help you to understand. And I know everybody got this cousin in their family. I'm gonna put it on something that everybody has a drug addict in their family, okay? And the drug addict is normally a pretty cool person outside the fact that they do drugs, okay? I'm just being honest, and I'm from St. Louis, so just take it with a grain of salt. So I have a cousin named Pierre who has been on crack for the past 25 years, maybe even close to 30. So when crack got dumped into the communities, he was right behind it, getting hooked on it, okay? And so he's been on crack for all of these years. Outside of being a crackhead, he is a human being and a sensible person. He is addicted to crack cocaine. And as long as he gets his fixes, he is okay. And you can tell the difference in him when he's had drugs in his system. So one day, he came and he was asking for some money. And, as they do, and I'm just going to be honest, my cousin is very forward and can be quite a mess. So he clearly said, you're going to either give me $20 for me to go get some crack, or I'm going to go rob somebody and take it. The choice is yours. And we know he meant it. Like, it wasn't no question about whether he was going to rob somebody or not. And so I was standing there and me and my sisters, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Get a boy $20 because he's going to end up in jail. Somebody's going to end up hurt, all because he's ignorant and won't tend to his addiction. And so we were standing there having this conversation about my cousin who was standing there with us about how, messed up it is that this is how he spends his life. My cousin looked at us and he said, y'all think y'all better than me? Y'all ain't no better than me. And he was matter of fact about it. He said, y'all think y'all better than me? Y'all ain't no better than me. As a matter of fact, y'all might be worse than me. He said, you in debt. You ain't got no money. You working day to day, paycheck to paycheck, barely surviving. How is that different from me? He said, as a matter of fact, I'm better off than y'all. I'm debt free. He said, I got a place to stay every night. I got a little raggedy car to drive, and I can spend my time doing what I want to do. Let's really think about who is the fool here. Well, I don't think, how most people would have not paid it any attention, but I really did have to stop and think about that. Because what it made me realize was that I was aspiring to be debt-free, which is equivalent to the homeless and the poor. Homeless people don't have any debt. That was my whole goal, to be debt-free, to not have any debt. And when he said that, now he didn't know he was making a breakthrough like that on me. He was trying to, get back at us. But he made a great point that stuck with me. My video keeps moving. I'm going to stop my video and go without the video. Maybe that'll fix it. But he made a great point. He said, your goal is to be debt-free. I'm debt-free. And I had to say to myself, so this is what I'm aspiring to be debt-free. This is the goal, to be debt-free. And I was like, he has a good point. Then I thought to myself, poor people are debt-free too. They don't have any debt. They don't owe anybody anything. And I was like, so my goal is to be equivalent to the poor and to the homeless. That really made me think about things in a different way, because all I talked about in the school system was being debt-free. And so I wanted to share that story because that was one of the things that made me begin to think about business credit and just credit in general in a different way, because my whole goal was not to incur any additional debt and not to take on any additional things, because I wanted to be debt-free. So we have to understand business credit as well as personal credit and understand what it is that we're doing to ourselves, especially in these changed times. So like I said, for the bonus, for the business formation, you'll get that through the bonus that you'll get in just a little bit, and it'll walk you through that. And so I want to dispel the myth that you need good personal credit in order to build business credit. You do not. Now, should you be working on your credit if you have poor credit? Absolutely, you should. Absolutely, you should. But you do not need to have good personal credit in order to be approved for business credit. And then some of us think they won't give me credit. You've told yourself that the powers that be will not give you credit, business credit, for whatever reason. I'm here to tell you that business credit does not work like that. When you set up your EIN number, that EIN number establishes your business as a person. And now your social security number, they can tell what race you are. But with your EIN number, there's no way for them to tell anything. So all of that is eliminated. There's a process that you need to follow. As long as you follow that process, you will be okay. For those who follow the process, you will see that you will be granted the credit. For those who don't, those who want to skip steps, those who, get tired, you won't get what you're looking for. And then we have those who decide, I'd rather pay out of pocket. That's not a good plan. When you're paying out of pocket, you're taking money out of your household when you could be using other people's money, business credit, delaying the payment until the bigger payment comes in. So when you need to, I want to remind you that when you need the credit, they're not going to give it to you. So build the credit now so that when you need it, it's already available for you. Let me find my little button to go to the next slide. So step 2, every consultant needs business credit. Every business needs business credit. I want you to think about this. This is what I want you to think about. When Walmart is going to buy a big order, Tesla, which is owned majority shares by Elon Musk, who is one of the richest men in the world. Why is it that when it came time for him to buy Twitter, why did he get credit when he clearly had $42 billion available in his bank account? They'd already said Elon Musk is worth, at that time, was worth $62 billion. And he paid $42 billion for Twitter. So why didn't he just use that money? Because even if Elon Musk lived to be 100, he's not going to be able to spend 20, 40, nor $60 billion. So why did he use credit instead of leveraging his own money? So these are some of the things that we have to think about. I will tell you this, when I first started consulting, I was paying out of pocket. So I didn't have a whole lot of gigs, but when I first started, I didn't have any jobs until like that next year. My business started in September. I was doing all of the things to establish the business, to network and do all of those things. And then when I started my first PD, when someone wanted me to come and do the PD, I had to pay for my plane ticket. I had to pay for my hotel. I had to pay for my food, and I had to pay for my rental car once I got out of state into the other state. All of that came out of my personal checking account. So I had to pay for the plane ticket. I had to pay for the hotel. I had to pay for the food that I ate while I was there. And I also had to pay for my rental car because I rented a car. And back then I thought that renting a car was the best way to do things. And so all of that came out of my personal checking account, which I just moved the money over into my business account. But the point being, it all came out of my account immediately, which meant that anything else that needed to come out, it wasn't there because I didn't just have thousands of dollars sitting in my bank waiting to be used. And so what happened was that worked that time, no big problem. Well, the next time they booked 3 dates. It was 3 dates and I was being paid $10,000 and I didn't have business credit. Didn't know a lot about business credit. I've been working on it, but I wasn't, fully entrenched in the process yet. So I was scheduled to do these 3 PDs and I was scheduled to make $10,000. Well, you get half of the payment up front and you get the other half once you're finished. But when we say up front, because it's going through a school system, that does not mean the same day. Well, we know what it means when you wait to the last minute to book airfare. So then I had to run around calling family members, trying to borrow $1,500 so that I could book the plane tickets and pay for the hotel because I was holding it on my debit card which had the Master Visa logo on it, but it was not a credit card. So we know that it actually holds the money, which makes you unable to access it. And so even though I had the potential of making $10,000, I had to spend $1,500 up front. And that was very frustrating. So I want you to think about what it would do for your household if you could make $2,500, $3,000 extra a month. Just an infusion of $2,000, $3,000 into your bank account from one day of work. And when I say one day, I'm not talking about 6 hours. When I say one day, I'm talking about my days are 3 hours. I normally do 180-minute PDs. Some people do 90 minutes, some people do 60 minutes, but most people are not doing a 6-hour day. But even if it is 6 hours, if you're being paid $2,000 for one day of PD, 6 hours, and all you have to do is get to the location, which might be 300 miles away, how would that help your household? Tell me in the chat, how would that help your household? Would it help your household? Or maybe it's just me, because I tend to think that, $2,000, $3,000 is life-changing for me, in my household. So how would it help your household? What would it allow you to be able to do? How would it ease up anything for you? Would it allow you to be able to purchase some things? Alicia says tremendously. So how would it help your household? Sonia says, yes, it would help. I can breathe a little more. Stephanie said, I can pay some bills. Right. How would it help your household? See, part of the problem, like I said at the beginning, is that we don't really want to dream big. We know what we're getting and we know what our check will be. And so we've created our life around that check. And to think that it takes me all month to make $3,000. And this lady on here telling me that I can make $3,000 in one day, and it takes me 30 days to make $3,000 currently. Those are some of those mindset shifts that I need you to begin to make. We don't make money over a month. I can make however much money I want to make. I've made $100,000 in a month. I've made $100,000 in a day. It's the difference becomes, what are you selling? Because you got to be selling something. You cannot just think that somebody's going to pay you for working their job and pay you $100,000. So when I say every consultant needs business credit, this is why we got to use other people's money. You can use it for marketing. You can use it for access into networking events and opportunities that's going to lead you to additional partnerships. You can use that credit to buy resources that you need and to buy back your time. Some of us are so busy, wake up, go to work, get dressed, feed the dog, go to work for 8 to 10 hours. It takes an hour to get to work, an hour to get home. You still need to cook dinner, help the kids with clothes, go check on mama over at her house, and this and that. You don't have time to do anything for you. So some of us, we got to buy back our time. We got to pay for a house cleaner to come in and clean our house. And I know that some people are here saying, oh my God, I could never let somebody come in my house and clean. Don't knock it till you try it. And some of us, we need to have some meal prepping done for us. For some of us, we need to be able to pay for our kids to be picked up from school. That's how you buy back your time. And so many times that's done through business credit. And when we talk about business credit, that just means that we're going to pay the money back. Now, I am not an advocate for telling people to get stuff and be scamming and stuff. That's not what we're doing. If I'm going on a PD and they're paying me $3,500 and I had to pay $500 for that flight and for that hotel and for that rental car, when that money comes in, I'm paying the $500 back. But you see how I didn't have to spend any money to make the money. Before now, I was spending my household money and then waiting for the money to come back in, which meant that I was going without in my household because I didn't have credit. Well, now that I have credit, I can take as many opportunities as that comes available. If you look at my the picture that I have up, the picture that I have up shows you this year, between 2019 and 2023, I've done 102 trips already, and I still have more planned. And as you can see, when you look at this number, in 2019, that was pre-COVID, I was on the road. I was in and out of these states about 50 times during the year. Then COVID came. You see that number went down. COVID got to leave a little bit. It went up just a little bit. COVID is pretty much gone, or they said it's gone. We got back to life in 2022. And now here we are in 2023. And most of these in 2023 have been personal trips, vacations, and things that I've wanted to do all of my life that I was not able to do. But think about how much it costs to take 20 flights in 1 year, how much that hotel would be, and how much that's costing you when you can use your business credit and allow it to pay it. And then when you get paid, to pay it back. And let's not mention the point accumulation, which we must talk about, because several of these that you see here, I use points to pay for that. And I only use points for personal use. I don't use my points for business use. I get the points through business use, but I only use them for personal use. So strategy 3, the strategy is the key. The strategy is the key. I'm going to put a link in the chat. And I want any brave soul, we're talking about being brave. We're talking about betting on ourselves. We're talking about not being afraid to move forward. Strategy is key. So in business credit, there's an order to doing things. So the one thing that I would recommend to you all is just don't go out here applying for stuff willy-nilly, because you will get denied. They will deny you. That's not what we want. We want to be approved for the credit. But what we have to understand is when we apply for the credit, kind of like when you apply for personal credit, maybe when you apply for your first personal credit card, maybe they gave you a $300 or a $500 limit. And your next credit card, maybe they gave you a $700 limit. The next one, they gave you a $1,000 limit, because it's based off of what you have demonstrated you can handle. Well, this company is called Crown Office Supplies. And what Crown Office Supplies does, it guarantees you a credit line that's typically anywhere between $1,800 to $3,000. Now, listen up on this, y'all. I want y'all to listen real good to what I'm saying, because I'm giving you the cheat code to how this works, but I'm also making sure that I disclose any additional information that you need to be aware of. A lot of the stuff that you're going to do in the business world is pay to play. I don't get no money for this. The referral that I'm giving you, it says to Crown, this person was referred by another business owner. And by them being referred by another business owner, we know that birds of a feather flock together. Crown charges an annual fee, I believe it's $99. And that's what's guaranteeing that you're going to get the credit line. Now, Crown Office Supplies, they don't have a big warehouse with 20,000 products in it or nothing. You can click the link and go to their site and look at it. This is the key to how to use this. You click the link, you sign up, and then they'll tell you what you get approved for. Anybody who's willing to try it out, put it in the link and tell us what you get approved for. They'll tell you what you're approved of, I believe, before you even make the payment. You make the payment. Oh, she said it's not opening up. Let me get you another link. Let me see. Why is it not opening up? It's just drawing redirecting. Oh, mine is. Oh, and I wonder why, because my link is opening. Let me put it back in there. Maybe I missed a letter or something, because it just opened on my account. Let me do it like this. Let me see. Okay, let's try that one. Okay, so here's how it works. You go in and you only need to do this for 2 times. And we're not spending hundreds of dollars, people. You need to spend $30, $40. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So did this one open, Nakia? Oh, the HT in front of it. Thank you, Nakia. I see what you're saying. Okay, great. So you need to spend $30 or $40. Now I know that previously my last group, they were buying the CEO t-shirt. There's a t-shirt that says CEO. It was like $22 or $30. When I used it, I bought a snack kit for my boys at the beginning of the school year. It was like $30 and it had like M&Ms and Doritos and stuff like that in it. My point being, once you pay for the account, they're going to give you a credit line that is bigger than what you're going to get on your own. On your own, they're going to give you $300-400. These people are giving you $1,800, $2,000, $2,400, $2,700. And that means that everybody after that point will give you as much as Crown gave you or more. I hope this is making sense. So once you get approved, you pay the $99. You're only paying it one time. When the next year renewal comes up, you're not paying that. You're not paying that. You're going to make an order for $30 or $40 of something that you can use. Do not just go buying stuff that is useless, that you can't use. A t-shirt is good. If you need paper, copy paper, order the copy paper. If you need a board for your house, for your business, order that. If you, whatever it is that you can see on that site that you can use, order that. But again, $30, $40. Place the order. They're going to bill you. They're going to send it to you within 7 days. And then they're going to send you an invoice. You have 30 days to pay that invoice. I recommend you pay that invoice within 15 days from when you receive the invoice. That then is going to generate a bill payment that they're going to send to the business, to the credit monitoring agency. So you're going to do that one time, and then you're going to do it again in the second month. You're going to order something else that's $30, $40, and it's going to register. You're going to pay it, and then that sends a ding over to the business credit, to Dun and Bradstreet, DMB, to Experian, to goodness, I can't think of the other one, but you know who I'm talking about, the business credit monitoring services. It sends a notification over to them. Is this making sense to you all? Is this making sense? Making sense. Give me an indication in the chat if this is making sense. Okay, Stephanie says, okay, it's making sense. Okay, because I don't want to be talking and y'all think that this, like, what is she doing? Okay, so Nakia says yes. Sharita says yes. Alicia says yes. Okay, so that's why we want to start with Crown. So once you start with Crown, now you have a business credit profile. So now that you have the business credit profile and you've given it a chance to register, you've given it a chance to show your business and to show business activity, now we're ready to go to the next steps. And let me help you with what the next steps are. I'm going to give you a link to this chart. Okay, so let's hope this opens. Y'all let me know if that opens, because next we are now going into the next set of steps. So on this next set of steps, the things that we have to do is open up what we call 5 vendor accounts. Those vendor accounts, now that's up to you which ones you choose to open. But it can be Granger, it can be Uline, it can be Summa. If you click the link, tinyurl.com/BIZBizCredit314, that will actually give you the list with links in it to the companies, okay? So as I'm talking to you, you'll be able to click the links, and even after we're off this call, you'll be able to reference back. Great, she said it opened. So that's tinyurl.com/bizcredit314. And that will take you to the list. So that's like Granger, Uline, Summa, CEO Creative. Again, the goal is to only get things you can use. Don't just go out here spending your money all willy-nilly. Get stuff you can use. I did Granger, or was it Uline? One of them, and I was doing my backyard. And so I ordered my construction trash bags. I ordered my rocks for my garden. and I ordered a shovel and a couple of other things because those were things that I actually needed. I would have been going to Menards to get those things had I not used Uline. So I said, well, let me kill two birds with one stone. Let me build the business credit and get the things that I need, and it'll register as a credit account on my business report. I will then pay it, and now it's paid in full. Now I have two credit sources showing on my business credit report. Then I did the same thing for I did Granger, I did Uline, I did Summa, and then I went into the gas cards. So order is important. The first step is to do Crown. I'm going to go back to that because I don't want us to be confused. Do not try to open the account first with Granger or Uline, who's not going to charge you anything, but they're only going to give you a $300 limit. They're only going to give you a $500 limit. We got to stop playing small, people. Pay the little $99, get the larger credit line, because every credit line after that is based on the amount of credit that has already been extended to you. So order is important. The next thing that I want you to understand, and this is a piece that a lot of people miss, when you are referred by a business owner who is in good standing, that's why they give us these referral codes. You get a little more leverage. Good people normally hang with other good people. Bad people normally hang with other bad people because we have like values and things that we're interested in. Those who are out robbing, stealing, and killing, do you ever wonder why all their friends are robbers and thieves and are out here killing people? Because they have the same values. It's the same thing in business. The business folks know that business owners hang out with other business owners. Those who have successful businesses only want to hang out with other people who have successful businesses. So refer those people to us. We'll extend credit to them because you say that they are likely more credit worthy than somebody just applying off the streets. So referrals matter. Y'all stop doing that. Somebody tell you about a service or something and they send you a link and you don't use the link, and then you go and you use the service, but you went directly to that provider's site. You're just making it hard on yourself, first of all, but also you're not showing that person gratitude who shared with you what the thing was that you were needing. You were needing something and they told you what it was, how to get it, and sent you a link. So be the person that follows through using that link, even if it requires you to go back and email to find that link that they sent us, because a lot of times we'll say, well, I'm just going to go to the site. So referrals matter. Let me tell you the other reason why this matters. Point accumulation. Oh my goodness. So even in what I just sent you, you're going to get more points by using my referral code than just signing up on their site. So for example, anybody who's signing up for Southwest Airlines, if you signed up on your own, you're only going to get 80,000 points for signing up. If you sign up using my referral code, you're going to get the 80,000 points plus an additional 20,000 points because you came in through a referral. So it is a great way to accumulate points. The Amex card, when you use a referral, you automatically get 120,000 points off the top. That's it. That's not excluding the points that you get for just regular sign up. So let me talk real quick about how we can circumvent, because you let us always know it's always a way around the rules. Okay. So some of us, anybody on here, have pretty good credit. Put it in the chat. And remember, we don't know you. We don't know where you live. We're not going to steal your social security number and take your information. Anybody on here have a credit score of 620 or better? Just put it in the chat. Yes, 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 yes. And if you don't, that's okay. We're all a work in progress. Ain't nobody perfect. You can be awesome and have bad credit at the exact same time, okay? So don't feel less than. I filed bankruptcy before. I've had bad credit before. I learned from my mistakes, and now I'm at a point in my life where I will not go backwards. So some of us still need to work on our credit, and that's absolutely great. The way that you do that is while you're building your business credit, okay? So for those of us, so we have several people on here who have good credit. I need us to know this. Stop being scared to leverage your good credit. What's the point of having good credit if you're not going to use it? You just want to be able to say, I got good credit and not use it. Credit is supposed to be an asset and not a liability. If credit is an asset, that means that you can use it to move yourself forward. So a way to circumvent some of these steps is that you can definitely leverage your personal credit. Now, let me tell you what that means. I know if somebody on there getting nervous, don't get nervous on me. Let me tell you. So that means that you're going to use a personal guarantee. So when you fill out for credit, and I would definitely recommend if you're going to start, start with an airline card, because we use airlines for all types of stuff. So I would definitely say start with the airline card. Stop being scared. And I challenge you right now, apply online right now. I just put a link in the chat. Southwest has an amazing deal. Southwest has the companion pass where once you accumulate 135,000 points, you get to have a person travel with you absolutely free wherever you go. You can have 4 names, so you can change the name up to 4 times. So typically my husband travels with me, but let me explain to you how this works. So when you leverage your personal credit, you apply for the business credit, and then they will ask for your social security number. That will not show up on your personal credit report. Let me repeat. If you are applying for business credit, which means that the application says business credit, and you use your EIN number, and they ask you for a personal guarantee, and you say yes, then you're going to put in your social security number. When you put in your social security number, you're telling them that if things go wrong with this business, I will still pay this credit card off. And so on your personal credit, it will never show unless you default. If you don't pay the money off, then it will show on your personal credit. I can tell you right now, I have several credit cards on my business credit that have a personal guarantee that do not show up on my personal credit. And it's been over 6 years and I have not defaulted yet. All you need to do is make sure you're making a minimum payment, and I will tell you how to do that as well. But I encourage you, I like to challenge people to step outside of their comfort zone, because right now you're probably feeling a bit fearful. You're feeling a bit scared. You've had some things that happen and you're like, nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna think about this. Stop doing yourself like that. Stop second guessing yourself. She says, oh, wow, I've stopped filling out business credit because I didn't know this. Yes, see, and that's really what it's about, understanding and moving forward. And you know what? I will tell you the truth. A lot of the stuff that I learned when I turned that light switch on, I don't know how electricity works. All I know is that the light comes on and they said Thomas Edison made it work. But I don't know the intricate details of how electricity works, but I know it works. And so sometimes we got to stop needing to know every single detail and just move forward, because we're smart people and we're going to figure it out later. So for some of y'all on here, you need to challenge yourself right now. If you got good credit, click that button, click that card for that Southwest card, for whichever airline card. If depending on where you're at. Like I said, I'm in St. Louis. We have a Southwest hub here, and we get amazing nonstop flights out of Southwest. The one I just put in the chat is for United Airlines. If you're a United girl, go ahead and click the United Airlines and go ahead and get set up with United Airlines. But go pick one and stop being scared. It's going to get you extra points and move you closer to the rewards that they are offering you. The other one that I would recommend is the Chase Inc. card. It's the Chase Inc. They are very lenient with new business owners. And when you use someone's referral code, they give you a little more leverage. And then the last one, some of us probably have a card with them now, and you're probably already in the family. It's a Capital One card. Let's see, what did she say? My personal credit isn't where it needs to be. I was advised to get an EIN in my name separate from my business one, but haven't used it in place of my SSN. Yes, curious if you know if EIN. Oh, let me tell you this. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about two things real quick. And one you may be talking about, and the other one you may not. Okay, so just understand that. And this is why I like to talk with my camera on. It is so hard for me to do this without my camera on, because I like to be able to make facial contact, but my screen is jumping. Can you all see my screen jumping? Type in the chat if you can see my screen jumping, because it's jumping, and that's distracting to me. Oh my goodness, it's so distracting to me. Okay, I can't do it with my camera on. Okay, so let me explain to you. First of all, you don't want the EIN in your name. In your name, you're a person. So let me explain. And this is a real situation that happened. So I was working in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in a school system, and there were about probably 8 other consultants there. I want to say 8. I can't remember the exact number, but there were about 8 of us there. And there was this guy who was really cool. It's a lot of male consultants, in case you don't know. Because women will not leave their jobs. They will not leave their families, to go on the trips out of town. So there are a lot of male consultants. So there was this guy who I was working with. And because we're both consultants, we would be able to go to lunch together and stuff. He was married, had been married for like 28 years. I had been married at that time for like 18, 19 years. And we would have really great conversations. We would FaceTime with our husbands and wives and let them talk to one another. And it's also Dr. Crystal Riddle, for those who know Dr. Riddle. She was also in that school system as well, because one of the things that we as consultants do when we find a school system that is in good need, we share it with other consultants that we know. They send proposals and follow the process, and then they get them a contract there too. Now, the school don't know we know each other, okay? So we walk down the hall, we act like we don't know each other, when really we the one who gave them the backdrop on the school to make them, have the edge in getting the contract. So anyway, I was working with this guy. We were over at the school. It's a high school. I'm traditionally secondary. And there was this big fight that broke out. This was not a school that did a whole lot of fighting. They had a large influx of Bosnian students that was very new. And it was something that they'd never dealt with. It was very difficult for them. They had this large influx of Bosnian students. And then they had a new demographic, which I'm still not as familiar with as I should be, but I also don't work in that school, so I didn't take the time to learn, but they were Burmese. I don't know the background of Burmese folks, but they said they were Burmese. And then they also have a Spanish population, and then they have some Black students and some white students. So traditionally, they were predominantly white. Well, when the Bosnian students and the Burmese students came in, and they already had the Hispanic students, and then they already had a good group of Black students, that made the white students their minority population. So now they were at 60% minority population. They brought all these different cultures in. Y'all, it was a hot mess. Point being, this guy, we were walking down the hall. I was there. I watched it with my own eyes. These guys were arguing back and forth. It turned into a fight, and it was a fight. It was a real fight. These are high school boys that are fighting. And a couple of the teachers were trying to break it up. Well, this lady, I don't know why these women try to break up these boy fights, but she got in the middle trying to break the fight up. The boys pushed her down, and it was looked bad. Like, I felt bad for her, but y'all, I wasn't getting in, and I wasn't able to sacrifice myself for her. And so when they knocked her down, it was horrific. Like, to see it, if they were doing like that videoing and stuff back then the way they do now, this would be viral. And so the consultant who I was with went in to help that teacher. And he's a man. He works out every day. He's very fit. He takes his health seriously. He flung the boy off of her and pushed the other guy into the locker. The one boy ended up hitting his head. The other guy said his back was hurt. He ended up in a lawsuit. The reason why they were not able to sue him was because he had an LLC, and in that LLC, there was nothing in it. He had a bank account that had $700-800 in it and some business credit cards. That was it. Had that been in his name, they would have been able to sue him for his house. They would have been able to sue him for his car, his personal checking account, anything that he had that was tied to his name, they would have been able to sue him. You would think that the school would have, so the parent is the one who lodged the lawsuit, and she did the lawsuit against the school and the consultant. After she found out he was a consultant, she didn't know he was a consultant, but as they do the investigation, the lawyer found out, so they named both of them in the lawsuit. He made it real simple. He was like, oh, I'm just going to dissolve my business. I ain't got nothing. They can sue all they want to. This is ridiculous. He went to open him up another business, dissolve that business. The verdict came down and they ended up, she wasn't able to sue, but he had to go through that for over a year of those court cases, all because some kids decided they wanted to fight. But had he had that in his personal name, he would have been in a world of trouble, because they could then go and file a civil lawsuit against him. And because it was in his business name. So I want to make sure that we understand that you definitely want to put this inside of an LLC so that it separates you from your personal assets. The second thing I'm going to say is that there's this new thing going around. Y'all don't fall for this. It's called a CPN, where they give you a new social security number and they say it's an EIN number. Don't fall for that, y'all. Don't fall for that. Do not fall for that. They just finished arresting a whole bunch of people in Texas for this. It is mainstream throughout Texas. And they just finished a whole organized crime ring in Texas. These folks were going to seminars and they were sharing this information. And I'm not saying that all of it is illegitimate. I think that the way the people are selling it to people is not the correct way to do it. But I just say be cautious of that, because that is something that's happening. So the EIN does not take the place of your SSN number. The EIN is an employee identification number, and that's for your business. And if you are a sole proprietor in a business and you are the business. So that's what the EIN number is for. But the route that you definitely want to go is LLC, so that you are protected yourself from your business. So I hope that answered the question. I know that was the long way around, but I done witnessed that. And I tell everybody, don't get caught up in that situation and just think that consultant was coming in, doing work, making money, had no idea that this is what that would end up in. But it also taught me, stick to your guns and don't break up fights, because I don't break up fights. Okay. So as you think about your credit, you can leverage your credit. Now, I will tell you, those people who got really good credit, and you know that you are a part of the 680, 700 club, stop playing with me. Stop playing, click that thing and do your Amex. You don't have to go through all of this rigmarole. Do the Amex Platinum. You're going to make way more than the fee that they're charging you, because it has a service fee on it. But the benefits that it gives you are so great. I would definitely say, look at what the benefits are and then think about how you can use those benefits. One of the things that I always use, I get $200 of airline credit from my Amex Platinum. I get $200 credit at Dell. So I just recently bought the Bose headphones, which, if you know the Bose headphones, those are amazing. So I use my $200 Dell credit for that. I get Walmart Plus, the membership, absolutely free every month. I get $10 every month off of my, I have Verizon for my cell phone. And she said, oh, okay, I'm gonna try. I don't know how, but you can help me, Danita. But Danita, I have that in a link for you. Everything that I'm talking about, I have in a link for you. Let me pull it again. 1 second, y'all. Her thing went, her service went out, and she was asking for the chat notes. And y'all know I don't know how to do all them chat notes and stuff. So this is the link, the tinyurl.com/bizcredit 314. That will bring you back to that document. So Amex gives you your wireless credit. I have Verizon, and they give me $10 a month towards my Verizon bill. They paid for my TSA pre-check, just got renewed last week, and they give you a credit back for that. If you are a Saks shopper, they give you $50 every 6 months to shop at Saks. So all you have to do is buy something. It'll give you an automatic $50 credit as long as you use that card. And the best part, you get admission into the Centurion Lounges. If you do not know what the Centurion Lounge is or have never been to the Centurion Lounge at the airport, trust me, you will never want to travel the same again, because they feed you gourmet meals, smoothies, anything you can name, plus free liquor and alcohol, okay? And it's all free. Typically, if you were to pay for that, just a visit to the Centurion Lounge would run you about $125. I stop at a Centurion Lounge every opportunity I can get in the airport. So I just want to make sure that you all are challenging yourself and not being scared to take advantage of these things out of fear, because we know that continuing to be fearful is not going to take us to where we're trying to go. We got to do something different if we want something different. And what's the point in having credit if we're not going to use it? Okay, quickly. Step 4, payment strategies. Here's the thing, y'all. This is what we got to do. When you get these cards, it's important that we take advantage of the opportunity, but it's also important that we handle it responsibly. The first thing you do, as soon as you get the card and you activate it, you set up your minimum monthly payment as an automatic debit. You will never be late on a payment if you do the minimum payment auto pay. Most times minimum payment is nothing but $30, $40, okay? It's $30, $40. As long as you make the minimum, you're okay. You can always pay more, but you never want to be late. And so that is the first hack for it. You set it up on auto pay. And then you set the auto pay to pay 2 days before the minimum payment is due, so that if anything happens, for some reason the money is not in your account, you got 2 days to figure out how to get $40 into your account to make that minimum payment. So 2 days before, I'm telling you, this strategy has worked, continues to work. Do not set that auto pay to come out on the day the payment is due. Set it to come out at least 2 days before. You will see if anything ever happens. And then the second part is you got to set the alerts. A lot of times we'll get cards and we won't set up our alerts. Alert it to come to your text message and to your email anytime a payment is due, anytime a payment is made, anytime you're within $100 of what your credit balance is, and anytime a transaction is made without the card. So that my card was just hacked. I don't even think it's been 2 weeks yet. And the way I knew, I was sitting at home right here at this very computer, and the thing told me I was making charges. I instantly pressed that button and froze my card on the spot, because I knew I was sitting here and I wasn't making charges. Within 10 minutes, my bank was on the phone telling me to dial them back because your bank shouldn't be calling you. So they called and said to dial your bank back. It seems to be some fraudulent charges. Absolutely it was. They were only able to do a DoorDash membership for $99, and they did a $35 DoorDash order. And I was sitting here and I knew I hadn't ordered no DoorDash. And see, my kids ain't brave enough to steal my card to make charges because they want to live. And so I was able to stop it. But by the time I got on the phone with the bank, those folks had tried to put through like 12, 13 charges because they know exactly what they're trying to do. So set those alerts, and don't just do text alerts, do email alerts also. The other thing that I'm going to say is set up your free NAB account. NAB is the same thing as Credit Karma. So Credit Karma is for your personal credit. NAB.com, N-A-B as in Victor.com is for your business account. Set that NAB.com up and it will monitor your business credit, and it will also give you a visual of where you're at. It'll be red, yellow, or green, and we know what red, yellow, and green means. So we want to be green, and you can do the work to get to the green, and it will give you tips on how to get to the green. So I want to make sure that we also understand how the tax deductions work. The tax deductions, a lot of the stuff that you're doing, you can use on your taxes for your business. Any classes that you've taken, any courses, any software. When you buy gas for your car, guess what? That's a tax deduction. When you buy food, you're a business owner. That food is a tax deduction. Any airfare, books, your electric bill. If you have a home office, or even if you don't have a home office, you are working at home. So you're using part of your home space as your office, and your house has to have electricity. Just like if you were renting a space, an office, you will pay an electric bill, you will pay a water, same thing for your home. So there are a lot of advantages to having your business and getting these tax deductions. And so let me help you to understand this. So let's say that you make an annual salary of, let's just say $75,000. Okay. I don't know what you make. I'm just using this as an estimate. So you see your annual salary is here. Typically you get your annual salary, and then your salary is based, your taxes are based on your salary. So at $75,000 here in Missouri, as a single person, we pay $18,110 in taxes. So they say, okay, you got this job, they're paying you $75,000. From that $75,000, you're going to owe $18,000. We're going to take equal amounts out each time you get paid to create the $18,000 and take it so that you owe it, so that you don't owe at the end of the year. So you pay the taxes in advance. Well, when you have a business, you're making the $75,000 here, but they have already said, we're going to tax that $75,000 at $18,000, which takes you down to $56,000. But what they didn't know is that that business that has its own EIN number, that's still you. So that $54,000 was based on you only working that job. So now we minus the business deductions. You take any computers that you bought, any software, all of your bills, your cell phone. You can't operate a business without a cell phone, your gas and all that. And let's just say that totals $20,000 here. So you got 75 minus 20,000. That decreases your annual salary from 75,000. Now you're at 55,000. Well, guess what? You paid Uncle Sam 18,000, but because you made 55, you are not supposed to pay Uncle Sam $18,000. You are now only supposed to pay Uncle Sam $8,000. So now Uncle Sam owes you $10,000. And that's where those big tax refunds come from, when people have businesses, because we get to deduct our deductions, and that comes off of our salary. Now, if you have any income, which typically a business in the first 3 to 5 years is not generating a whole lot of income, they will add the income in. But if you have the right tax person and they are a small business specialist, they know how to support you and make your numbers say what it needs to say. I'm just telling you what I heard and not what I do. I'm just telling you. So for those of you who this sounds interesting to, let me quickly share with you an opportunity for you to change your life, to increase your income, and just to do life different. We got to be willing to do something different if we want something different. This weekend, we'll be doing the Beyond the Blackboard Virtual Summit. I am super excited. I am beyond hype, y'all, because this is about to be, every time I do this, we have people whose lives are forever changed, because we're showing you a way to make money different. We're showing you how to utilize your skills in a different way, and letting you know that you don't have to sit and wait for somebody to pay you, that you can generate income on your own. So in the Beyond the Blackboard, I'm going to give you real teaching. I'm going to give you real action steps. It is going to be life changing. I'm going to share with you the exact steps that have created over 300 consultants in 3 years. And for those who say they don't have any time, if you don't have 2 days to try to change your life, guess what? You're going to get a 7-day replay. So take that off the table. For those who say they ain't got no money, guess what? This thing is only $97. Okay, $97. And for those of you who say you're not sure, that's fine. It's a guarantee. If after the first session you say this is not for me, no question asked, refund. All you got to say is, I don't want to do this. I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. Fine. We're going to give you 100% refund if after session 1, it does not resonate with you. But you got to bet on yourself. You got to take a stand, and you got to know that abundance is your birthright. And I'll tell you this because I like to make it hard for people to say no. And then we're going to get to step 5. I like to make it hard for people to say no. One of the things that educators are going to need is some CEO mindset training. I am going to give you a free training that is normally a $697 training. If you think I'm playing, go on my link tree. You will see this exact training on my link tree right now and has been there for the past 7-8 months. It's a CEO mindset training, and it is going to really walk you through how to run a business, some of the things that you feel like you need to know for a business, as well as some of the solutions that you need to be a savvy CEO. So if you're saying you don't know a lot about business, this is the solution for that. This training is extremely popular, and this is only for y'all. This is just for y'all on this webinar. This is not a part of the Beyond the Blackboard. The Beyond the Blackboard has its own bonuses, which is a set of email templates that you can send to schools and a Stop Playing Small challenge. This is in addition to that. So for those who want to learn more, click that link, educatorsmovingon.com about 5-1 that's in the chat. Click the link, check it out, see what it is. Stop playing with yourself. Stop playing small. You know you want something different, but you don't quite know how to do it. You got to explore some options to see what might work for you. So moving on, step 5, getting started. We got to talk about this worst case scenario because there's somebody on here who's thinking to themselves, what if it don't work out? What if I mess up? What if I've been bad with money all this time? What if I get this and mess up? I'm going to tell you the truth. Y'all ready for the truth? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? The truth is we all mess up. Like none of us came with a whole bunch of money. Well, none of the people that I know started out with a whole bunch of money and financially savvy. We worked to be better at finances. Even I myself am not an expert at finances. I still slip up. I still make mistakes, but I do that in everyday life. And so do you. So when you slip up and make a mistake, you fix it. You do what you have to do to fix it. But this is what I will tell you. And this is when I say, stop playing small. Stop trying to put more on you than you need. Is the reason why your former President Trump done filed bankruptcy 7 times. Because he's dissolved 7 different companies. If it go too far in over your head, guess what? Dissolve the company. You didn't hear that from me. I'm just saying. Dissolve the company, okay? And when the company is closed, that's an EIN number and not your social security number. And go start you another company with a new name and a new EIN number and start that business credit process all over again. You didn't hear that from me. I'm just saying people do it every day in the business world, but we get so scared to use the same rules that have been created for us to use. That's what it says. Go to the book. You can read it in the business book. That's what it tells you to do. When you need to shut down a business, you shut it down by dissolving it, letting your Secretary of State know, and notifying the business credit people that you are no longer in business, and you dissolve that LLC. And guess what? Bam, tomorrow you can start a new one, different name, different EIN number. I'm just saying. And if you're wondering if only failing businesses do it, no, my good homeboy, who I love, Steve Jobs, no matter what y'all say, he's responsible for the iPhone. He himself went through several businesses before he was the great success that he is. When you talk to our friend over Jeff Bezos, over at Amazon, no different. But we don't talk about that often because there's nothing to talk about. It's a part of business. So we got to be willing to do the things. Your worst case scenario is you get in over your head. Stop thinking about your worst case scenario and start thinking about your best case scenario. What if you were able to get $50,000 worth of business credit? What would you do with it? Tell me in the chat, what would you do if you could secure $50,000 of business credit right now? It's available to you in a line of credit or through credit cards. What would you do with it? What would you do with it? Tell me in the chat, what would we do? Business credit, what would we do? She said, I would grow my business and live abundantly. What else would y'all do? What would we do if we had $50,000 worth of business credit, either through a line of credit or through business credit cards? What would you do? You got an Amex, you got a Chase card, you got a Capital One, and each one of them got $20,000 on it. Lisa says she would purchase products for her business and invest. Alicia says she would do some marketing and hire help. Right. We got to stop trying to do everything ourselves and pay for everything out of our pocket. That makes no sense. And that's why we keep moving so slowly. And then we get discouraged. And then we run backwards because we think that we cannot do this any longer. And it's just not true. I just put the link to the workbook in the chat. The link to the workbook is in the chat. So these are the strategies that I've used in my business, as well as that has yielded all of the educators I coach great success. And I haven't forgotten about the bonus. I don't want y'all to think I forgot about the bonus. So let me give you the link to the bonus as well. Let me give you the link to the bonus as well. This is to help you to form the business. So here's the link to the bonus. Go ahead and click it. And that is tinyurl.com/bizfoundations314-bonus. So the link is in the chat. Click the link and let me know that you're able to open the link. And that's going to really help you to walk through those business foundations. For those of you all who are in doubt, let me tell y'all, those who are in doubt, you just don't know what you don't know. I want you to take just a couple of minutes and listen to Marta. I want you to, and Marta sent me this unsolicited because some of us don't know how quickly and how fast our lives can change. And I hope my video plays.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marta Pickard. I am the lead educational consultant with Change Consulting Group. And I am here because I want to talk to you a little bit about my journey and my experiences with Dr. Chanel DeVoe. So my experience began a little bit before March. I always say March 1st, but March 1st is the actual day that I was able to have my business established. That's my business birthday. But prior to March, back in February, I called Dr. DeVoe, or I saw some type of way on Facebook, like an advertisement regarding educators who were interested in leaving the classroom. I admit that I was at a frustrated point, and so I was seeking other options. And so I booked the strategy session, and I was able to talk to Dr. DeVoe one-on-one. And then after that, I thought about it, and I just went forward. And so I started working with her first through the one-step accelerator program. And that program allowed me the opportunity to get my business set up. It walked me step by step through, all of the things that you need to get set up. Then I had the opportunity to attend a live event with Dr. DeVoe. And after that, I received intermittently some one-on-one coaching sessions with Dr. DeVoe. So fast forward to today. Now, I told you my business birthday was March 1st. So fast forward to today. Today, we are in the month of December. It is, look, I'm looking at my watch. It's December 16th to be exact. And I now have 5 contracts in the state of Texas, and I'm working on more. 5 contracts. These contracts and bids have now secured my exit strategy out of the classroom. If you would have told me back in March that this was all going to accelerate so fast, I probably would not have believed it. But working with a coach has been instrumental, and it has been the best decision that I could have made for myself in the next part of my life. So now, instead of frustration, when I go to work, I'm excited. I am at peace because I know what my next step is going to be. I have secured and still working on my exit. I'm still working on some parts of my exit plan, but for the most part, my exit strategy is done. My resignation letter is typed and ready to go. And so anytime I'm having a rough day, I just pull that letter out and take a look at it, and I keep going. So I am saying, I'm putting this video out because I want other educators to know that this is possible. I started the same way that you starting right now, having, being frustrated, wanting to do something different, having a different desire for your life. And it took action. And it also took, most importantly, finding a coach who knows how to accelerate you to where you're wanting to go. It's going to take action. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's relentless pursuit and action on your behalf and doing what your coach tells you to do. So Dr. DeBow has been instrumental in my life. I'm super excited. She is my education coach for life. And I am just super excited at where my future is headed. And I am super excited that we are actually leaving 2021 and entering into 2022 because it's getting me closer to my exit day. I can't wait. I am going to record that day. I'm going to record the day that I press that button, and I'm going to send y'all another testimonial so that you guys can see that this is not just possible for me, but it's possible for you too. So go ahead, stop what you're doing, bet on yourself, because you're sure to win every time, especially with Dr. DeBow in your corner as your coach. So talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, so that's Marta, and she did leave her job in June of 2022. We are in September of 2023. Marta has opened her own school because it's so much that you don't know. Marta has her own school. Yes, she opened her own school. She has her own building, her own school. And because she knows how to write proposals, she knows how to write grants, she knows how to get into conferences, she was able to get the money that she needed, secure grant money, and open a school, hire teachers, and is making money because we all know that school is a business and that folks make money out of schools as well. And she has her time freedom. She got her contracts, learned the system, and then figured out what it was she really, really wanted to do, the dream that she really, really had inside of her. And Marta has her own school in Texas right now. It opened this school year in August of 2023. So I say that and I share that because all of us have a dream inside of us. A lot of us, we started out wanting to be teachers or educators, and we've done that, but we're at a point where we want to do something and not have to start over. And so I invite you to Beyond the Blackboard. We'll go over how, and we're not just going over, I'm giving you the steps to everything that I am sharing. So I'm going to show you how to build a profitable consulting business from day one. It does not take a year to start making money in consulting, but within 12 months, you're going to make money in consulting if you're working with me. We are not sitting around waiting, trying to figure out how to make money. We know how to make money. I'm going to teach you how to package and price your product that is tailored to you, your brand, what it is you're trying to do. We're going to teach you the systems for success. You need automation because your competition is not any of these consultants that are on this line. Your competition are other big education companies because those are the contracts you're going to get. Gone are the days when we're looking for $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 contracts. Folks who I work with, we do contracts anywhere from $20,000 to $350,000 on a standard. The most that I've done is a $1.8 million contract, and that was in conjunction with some other consultants. So I didn't bring 1.8 million home, but it was a $1.8 million contract over a 4-year time period. So we're going to teach you those essential systems for success. so that you can also scale your business. We're going to give you the financial blueprint for success, because you got to have strategies to elevate your income. And then, most important, we're going to show you how to secure those school contracts, community-based contracts from community-based organizations, private schools, charter schools, higher ed companies, and corporations, so that you can project your income. And the guarantee is that after one session, you don't feel aligned or satisfied, you'll get a no questions asked refund. Absolutely no hard feelings. We'll part ways as friends. The regular early bird bonuses, you'll get the Stop Playing Smile training, which is normally a $297 training, plus the How to Get More Contract email templates. These are the actual templates that you send to the schools, the email message. You ever wonder, what am I supposed to say to them in email? How do I introduce myself? How do I pitch my services? How do I get a meeting with the superintendent? Through these email templates I'm gonna send you. And so, and then in addition, you're gonna get the CEO mindset training, which is one of our favorite trainings. So I encourage you to go ahead and get signed up. Stop playing small. Stop robbing yourself of a great opportunity. I will take a few minutes to answer any questions. Hopefully, I will be able to come on camera. Let's see. One second. Where's my little camera thing? Okay, here we go. All right, I'm still glitching just a little bit. I hope it stops. All right, so if you will put the hand raise button up if you have a question. I see that Dr. Marquita says she's seriously thinking that she needs to dissolve her current structure and start over. And that may be possible. The one thing that I will say is that when you dissolve one business and you start over, that then starts your clock over, if that makes sense. So if the old business has been in place for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, when you start that business, when you start that new business, that is very distracting. When you start that new business, it's going to start over from your day one. So if you started over on December 15, 2023, that's your new day one. That's your new start date. Sometimes we just have to do a name change. So sometimes we just need to put in to change the name of our business and not start the business over. So that might be an option for you. And then the other option, and she said the current structure. So if you don't have an LLC, you definitely want an LLC. And if you're not making in revenue about $100,000 a year, you should not have an S Corp. It's not serving you any good to have an S Corp. And the reason why they say 40,000 is because if you're bringing home 40,000 in income, you likely were close to 100,000 in revenue. So revenue and what you bring home in profit are two different things. So that's why we go with the general $100,000 number. That's when you transition over to an S Corp and save yourself 15% on self-employment tax. So I hope that gives you some ideas, Dr. Marquita. Anybody have questions? You can feel free to put your hand raise button up. It'll move you over to the front of my screen so that I can see that you have a question. But I'm more than willing to answer questions for you to help you get started on your business journey, on your business credit journey. Any questions? Y'all can't see me over here shaking and dancing because my camera is off. But this is exciting to me because the fact that you all showed up to learn about business credit shows that you have an interest, but now you got to take it the next step further. And let me also say this about business credit. It's not like personal credit. Like with business credit, like with personal credit, when you apply for something, it puts a ding on your numbers and you experience a drop in numbers. That's not what happens in business credit. In business credit, you can apply for 2-3 things at a time. And it's not about score. It's about payment history. And so you will see if you download the nav.com, they have a free version. Everybody should have the free version. And then when you do the paid version, okay, Stephanie says she applied for Crown and she's awaiting approval. They're going to approve you for a great rate too. When you upgrade to Crown's premium version, that then also becomes a trade line on your credit report, on your business credit report. So I did them for about 7 months as a trade line under the paid version so that I could have the 5 trade lines that I needed. So NAV is one. And when you do the paid version, it'll actually tell you, just like Credit Karma tells you, what you need to apply to, what your chances are of getting it, when you should apply, and all of those things. So definitely sign on to nav.com for the free one. And if you can afford to do the paid one, you don't have to do it for the next 20 years. You can do it for 6 months, 8 months, however many months you need to build your business credit. But also, let me give you this tip also. When you're doing credit, do it in batches. So once you get approved for one thing in your business credit, apply for another thing that same night. Don't wait until next week and then do another one the following week. No, do 2 or 3 things in that one night. So typically we do batches in our mastermind. We do a business day where we do finances. And from those finances, we take a business credit portion and we say, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to apply for some more credit? Do we need to make sure that our credit score is on point with our business credit? What needs to happen right now? And then that allows us to stay accountable, because a lot of times it's just us being scared to pull the trigger by ourselves. And so that's why it helps to be in a group that you can borrow the belief and the bravery of someone else. And that's what a lot of us need to do. We need to stop being scared. It's business. It's not your personal credit. And for those who are using our personal credit to leverage our business credit, what is the point of having personal credit if you're never going to use it and if it's not going to elevate your life? We can use credit to book a flight. We can use credit to book a vacation. We can use credit to pay a bill, but we can't use our credit in order to elevate our life and to build our business credit. So we really have to sometimes shift the way that we've been thinking. All right, so if no one else has any questions, I would love to see you all in Beyond the Blackboard. It's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You'll get a 7-day replay in the Facebook group. So if you need to miss a session, you'll still be able to watch it for up to a week after. It is going to be jam-packed with information, actionable steps, and we don't just do dry motivation. We give you the real gems and the real resources that you need to build your business and to go out here and do what you need to get these contracts. So y'all have a good rest of your night, and thank you for showing up.